We've ended the tyranny of so-called diversity, equity, and inclusion policies all across the entire federal government and indeed the private sector and our military. From now on, women's sports will be only for women. There are only two genders, male and female.
Trump's State Department has said no more pride flags, no more Black Lives Matter flags, no more of these other flags.
And our country will be woke no longer.
When I was 12 years old, I came out to my dad in the back seat of his SUV. I'd been planning this moment for weeks. He would be in a good mood because we were driving back from a Red Sox game. If he was driving, he couldn't avoid the conversation. If I did in the car, I wouldn't have to see his reaction. I knew he thought being bisexual was just a phase, that I was just following the latest trend. I knew I would be safe, but I didn't know if I would be accepted. I don't remember what he said, but I do remember what he didn't. 6 years later, and he's driving me to my college orientation when we see a massive rainbow flag flying over the highway. Completely offhandedly, he casually said, "That's a nice pride flag." And I could tell that he meant it. I know he doesn't remember this moment, but for me, it was everything I'd ever needed him to say.
I put that flag up probably 2009. I bought the mailbox in 2006 from David Marshall, who owned it. He started it back in 1971 on Main Street in Worcester, Mass. David provided a safe space for everybody back then when it wasn't okay to be gay. Because being gay was a project. Once you opened that door and went in the MB, you were free to be yourself. I frequented the bar back then when I was 18 years old. I just said someday this is what I want to do, and eventually I was able to acquire the place.
Every stripe, every color on that flag represents something. It's brave, it's bold, and it shows that we're going to be here no matter what tries to tear us down.
I can't even count how many times I've had people, first time here, they just came out just looking for a sense of community. Having a space like this is fantastic because it brings all walks of life in. It's not just a bar, you come in, get drunk, you leave. It's actually a place that we can actually network and become friends with people.
It's really interesting to see almost like the old guard still coming in almost every single day. We have customers where they go, "That's my seat, that's been my seat for 20 years. On top of freshly 21-year-olds who have just come out and are just like starting to explore the community. I think it's good that there is this staple in the community that brings that together. I feel like, especially generationally, there's such a divide in experiences and communication, and this is a very good place for every generation to get together and talk to each other and learn about each other.
I think it's important to have a space. It's like for queer folks to know for sure that this is like a safe space and it's right around the corner is great. That's what I love about this place too, just being able to come in, have a good time, more for like a social place or just getting to meet other people. While I was driving here, I saw the flag. I was like, oh my God, that is so freaking amazing to see like the pride flag just flying.
It's paramount for that flag to be up there, you know, especially in the political environment that we're in today.
I know in Worcester, the city council, there was a lot of transphobic remarks as far as a certain city council person.
The first openly non-binary elected official in Massachusetts history is taking a hiatus.
I have faced transphobia with being misgendered and recently learned that I have been dehumanized to a point where I'm being referred to as it by my colleagues on this council.
About 200 residents joined the discussion over making Worcester a sanctuary city for those who identify as transgender or gender diverse.
The decision came after hours of testimony from the public. People saying they feel unsafe by President Trump's mandate that the federal government recognize only two genders.
Obviously, the current administration is not really LGBTQ friendly. We're losing our rights. He's ripping down flags and whatnot. It's kind of scary. You don't know what's going to happen. They're scary days. There's scary times ahead of us. Hopefully people realize that this radical path they're going down is not good for anybody. But I'm diligent. I did it back then. Sylvia and Marsha did it back then. We'll do it again today.
I talked to a lot of my older regulars who talk about when they were coming here in the early 90s and they were like scared to come in because they were worried about people finding out. And there's definitely a feeling in here, especially with that crowd, of relief, of like, that's not really a thing here anymore. And everyone that comes in here is proud to come in here.